My wife said, "The marriage is over." I replied, "Okay, I'll see you in court." Then I let her move out, hired the best divorce lawyer in the state, and let her think she was getting away with everything. I just smiled, because she has no idea I've already spoken to her affair partner's wife, and we've decided to work together. Original post, my wife Kate and I have been together for 16 years, married for 9. We met in college. She was my first and only serious relationship. Our life was built together, brick by brick. We bought a condo downtown, adopted a dog, and shared a rhythm that felt comfortable and permanent. We did not have kids. It was a conscious choice. We had our careers, our friends, and each other. That was supposed to be enough. Don't miss the twist. Subscribe and help us reach 1,000 subscribers. About 6 months ago, the rhythm changed. Kate became distant. She started working late more often, attributing it to a big project at her marketing firm. When she was home, she was glued to her phone, always angled away from me. Our conversations became shallow, transactional. The easy intimacy we had shared for more than a decade evaporated, replaced by a polite, formal distance. I felt like a roommate. I tried to address it. I suggested we take a vacation, just the two of us. She said she was too busy with work. I tried to initiate conversations about our future, and she would give vague, non-committal answers. I asked her if she was unhappy, if I had done something wrong. She would always deny it, saying she was just tired and stressed. She made me feel like I was imagining things, that my concerns were a sign of insecurity. The moment of clarity came from a notification on our joint credit card account. It was a charge for $80 at a bar called The Alibi Room. It was on the other side of the city. The charge was from a Tuesday afternoon, a day she had told me she was in back-to-back meetings at the office. On its own, it was nothing. But it was a loose thread. I felt a cold urge to pull on it. I did not say anything to her. That night, I logged into our phone account online. I looked at the call and text records for her number. For the past 3 months, there was one number that appeared constantly. Dozens of calls, hundreds of texts, every single day. The calls were often late at night, after I had gone to sleep. They happened during the day, when she was supposed to be at work. I did a reverse search on the number. It came back to a man named Mark, who lived in a suburb about an hour away. A quick search on social media brought up his profile. He was married, with 2 young children. His wife's name was Emily. In his profile picture, he was standing with his arm around her, smiling. On his public page, I scrolled down and saw a post from a few months back. He had checked in at the Alibi Room. The date matched the credit card charge. I sat in the dark of my home office, the glow of the monitor illuminating a life I never knew existed. The woman I had spent 16 years with was a stranger. The foundation of my world had turned to sand. I did not feel rage or sadness in that moment. I just felt a profound, chilling silence. I took a screenshot of Mark's profile, saved the phone records, and closed the laptop. I had the truth. Now I needed to decide what to do with it. Update 1. My first move was not to confront Kate. It was to contact Emily. I found her on the same social media platform where I found her husband. I sent her a message request. It was direct and simple. "My name is Alex. I believe our spouses are having an affair with each other. I have proof. I think we should talk." She responded within an hour. Her reply was just as direct. "I know. I've known for months. Call me." She sent her number. Our phone conversation was the most surreal and validating experience of my life. Emily was a woman who had been living in the same quiet hell I had just discovered. She had seen the changes in her husband, the late nights, the secret phone calls. She had confronted him, and he had gaslighted her, just as Kate had done to me. He told her she was crazy, jealous, and trying to ruin their family. We compared timelines. The affair had been going on for nearly a year. They met at a work conference. We shared the evidence we had gathered. She had access to his credit card statements, which were full of charges for hotels and dinners. I had the phone records. Together, we had an airtight case. We were not 2 victims. We were a team, and we were both done being lied to. Armed with this information, I was ready to face Kate. I did not set up a dramatic confrontation. I waited for a normal Wednesday evening. We were in the kitchen making dinner. She was on her phone, a small, secret smile on her face. "Kate," I said calmly. "We need to talk." She sighed, annoyed at the interruption. "Can it wait? I'm busy." "No," I said. "It can't." I turned off the stove. "Ooh, is Mark?" The smile vanished. Her face went pale. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Don't lie to me anymore," I said, my voice dangerously quiet. "I know everything. I know about the phone calls. I know about the alibi room. I know about the hotels." I paused, then delivered the final blow. "I spoke to his wife Emily. She knows, too." The mention of Emily's name was what broke her. The realization that her secret world had been fully exposed, that it was not just me she had to lie to anymore, was too much. She did not cry or apologize. Her face hardened. "Fine," she said, her voice dripping with venom. "You want to know? Yes, I've been seeing him. And you know what? He makes me happy. He makes me feel alive. Something you haven't done in years." The cruelty was breathtaking. There was no remorse, only anger at being caught. "Then it's over," I said. "Yes, it is," she replied, her eyes cold. "This marriage is over. I want a divorce." She packed a bag that night and went to stay with a friend. The next day, she came back with boxes while I was at work and moved the rest of her things out. Just like that, 16 years ended in an afternoon. She thought she was escaping to her new life. She had no idea that Emily and I had already started planning how we were going to burn it to the ground. Update 2. Kate wanted a quick, clean divorce. She was deep in the affair fog, eager to shed her old life so she could officially start her new one with Mark. She assumed we would split our assets down the middle, sell the condo, and walk away. She thought she was in control. That was her first mistake. Emily and I coordinated everything. We hired lawyers from the same firm, a strategic move that allowed our legal teams to work in concert. While Kate was focused on her fantasy future, I was focused on the grim reality of dismantling our shared life. My lawyer drew up the initial divorce papers. We offered her a settlement that was, on the surface, fair. But the devil was in the details. Details she was in too much of a hurry to read. She agreed to let me buy her out of her half of the condo, but at a valuation from 2 years prior, before the market had boomed. She signed away her claim to my retirement accounts in exchange for a slightly larger share of our liquid savings. She just wanted the cash and the freedom. She signed the papers without a fight. While our divorce was proceeding, Emily was preparing her attack. Mark was a partner at a mid-sized architectural firm. He had built a reputation as a family man. It was a core part of his professional brand. Emily waited until the day our divorce was set to be finalized. Then she made her move. She did not confront him in a screaming match. She did not post about it on social media. She scheduled a meeting with him and the other 3 senior partners at his firm. In that meeting, she calmly and methodically laid out the entire affair. She presented bank statements showing thousands of dollars in marital assets spent on hotels, gifts, and dinners. She showed them phone records detailing hundreds of hours of calls made during business hours. She provided a detailed timeline of his business trips that coincided with hotel stays with Kate in their own city. Her presentation was not emotional. It was a factual accounting of gross misconduct and financial infidelity. She was not just a betrayed wife. She was a shareholder in the family they had built, and he had been embezzling from their life to fund his affair. The fallout was immediate and catastrophic for him. The other partners, fearing the potential damage to their firm's reputation and the legal liability, invoked the partnership agreement's morality clause. They forced him to sell his shares back to them at a deeply discounted rate. He was out of a job, out of a partnership, and his professional reputation was destroyed. The day our divorce was finalized, Kate texted me, a single, gloating message, "Finally free." An hour later she called me screaming and crying. Mark had just called her. He was ruined. Their fantasy life, the one she had blown up her marriage for, was gone. She was free, but she was also alone, with a lot less money than she thought, and her affair partner was now a disgraced, unemployed pariah. Update 3. 3 months passed. The silence from Kate was absolute. I heard through a mutual friend that she had moved into a small, rented apartment. Her dream of a seamless transition into a new life with Mark had turned into a nightmare. He, consumed by his own professional and financial ruin, wanted nothing to do with her. I spent those 3 months trying to piece myself back together. I was living with my parents, unable to face the emptiness of the condo. I started therapy. I joined a divorce support group. I walked my dog for hours, trying to exhaust the grief and anger that seemed to have taken up permanent residence in my chest. I felt lost, like a stranger in my own life. Slowly, I started to heal. I spent a night back at the condo, then 2. I rearranged the furniture. I painted the walls. I started reclaiming the space as my own. It was a slow, painful process. Then, one evening, Kate showed up at my door unannounced. She looked terrible. She was pale and thin, and the arrogant confidence she had always possessed was gone. She looked broken. She said she needed to talk. I almost closed the door in her face, but a part of me needed to hear what she had to say. I let her in, but I remained standing, a clear signal that this was not a social visit. She gave a long, rambling speech. She said she had made a terrible mistake. She said she was not thinking clearly, that she had been unhappy for a long time and did not know how to deal with it. She said Mark had manipulated her. It was a masterclass in blame, shifting, and self-pity. Finally, she got to the point. "I miss you," she said, tears streaming down her face. "I miss our life. I know I destroyed everything, but we were together for 16 years. Doesn't that count for something? Can't we try to fix this?" I listened to her words and I felt nothing. The man who had loved her, who would have done anything for her, was gone. She had killed him. "Fix what, Kate?" I asked, my voice flat. "There is nothing left to fix. You burned it all down for a fantasy, and when the fantasy imploded, you came running back here. This is not about us. This is about you. You're alone, and you're scared, and you want to come back to what was safe and comfortable." I walked to the door and opened it. "The divorce is final. Our life together is over. There is no second chance. You need to leave." She stared at me, her mouth open in disbelief. She was so used to being able to manipulate me, to get her way. But that person was gone. She left without another word. As I watched her walk away, I did not feel triumph or satisfaction. I just felt a profound, weary sense of closure. Final update. It has been a full year now since the divorce. The pain has not disappeared entirely, but it has changed. It is no longer a constant, overwhelming weight. It is more like a faint scar, a reminder of a wound that has healed. I am living full-time in my condo again. It is my space now, filled with my things. It is quiet, but it is a peaceful quiet. I have continued with therapy, and it has been instrumental in helping me understand that her affair was not a reflection of my worth, but of her own emptiness. Emily and I are friends. We check in every few months. Her divorce was finalized shortly after mine. She got the house and full custody of her children. Mark moved out of state, trying to rebuild his career from scratch. We are 2 survivors, bound by a shared trauma, who found strength in an unlikely alliance. I heard that Kate lost her job a few months ago. She is struggling financially and emotionally, still living in that same small apartment. Our mutual friends have told me she is filled with regret. She sees now what she threw away. I should feel something when I hear that, but I do not. Her life is her story now, and I am no longer a character in it. The other day, I was walking my dog in the park near our old condo. It was a place Kate and I used to go all the time. I saw a couple sitting on a bench, laughing and holding hands. They reminded me of us, years ago. I expected to feel a pang of sadness, a wave of nostalgia. But I felt nothing. It was like watching a scene from a movie I had seen a long time ago. The story was over. I turned and walked home, and for the first time since she left, I felt truly, completely free.